Hey, funny people. We should call our listeners that.
Funny people?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Sure.
We are here. It's Peter, it's Todd. Another episode of Funniest People You've Never Heard of. Today, our guest is Catbird. And Catbird,
So funny.
Oh, so funny. So cool. Great conversation. Catbird talks a little bit about other careers leading up to comedy. Todd, were you ever not in the entertainment industry?
Well, I had a high school job. I guess it's kind of in entertainment. I was at Blockbuster Video.
Wow.
Yeah, so not to date myself.
Yeah, you really are, though.
Yeah, I worked there for a couple years. Now that they're out of business, I can admit that my friends and I stole a few DVDs back in the day and probably several sacks of Red Vines.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that.
That was the thing to do, though. Like, you must have been the most popular guy in school because every Friday night you rented a movie. Right?
It was the place to be. It was the place to be for people to come in for their like date night, and they would go have a great night with their friends watching Shawshank Redemption. But for me, I was there working and stealing DVDs, so at least I got something out of it.
Well, you know what? Date night for me doesn't even require a date. It just requires tequila especial. I cuddle up to a bottle of this every Friday. And, I don't even need another person, as I've said. Todd, where can we find out more about tequila especial?
And I want to say you cuddle up with a bottle, and by the end of the night, you're both empty inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. To get a bottle of this delicious tequila, go to www.tequilaespecial.com, pick up a bottle, finish it off, enjoy your night, go to Blockbuster.
There's one Blockbuster left.
There's one in Alaska. So, we're still taking sponsors.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll call you and hit us up.
We will call you. And
but if you come for that DVD, I've already sold it at a garage sale. You can't have my $6.
Todd's keeping the $6, and you keep locked into this episode because coming up next, it's me, it's Todd, and it's Catbird. Hey, can I get a ride to Bakersfield later?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Hey, welcome back. This is Funniest People You've Never Heard of. Uh-oh, he's right behind me, isn't he? There he is. I never get this right.
Oh,
there it is. Yeah. And next to me here is a fantastic.
That's what it's
so amazing. I can't even speak. So fantastic that she wows crowds from here
to Bakersfield.
Bakersfield, yes. Please welcome the very funny Catbird. Cat, good day.
Good day to you, Peter Murphy.
And Todd is here. Todd's in the outfield. Todd, how's it going?
Great.
Hi, Todd.
Awesome. So, Cat, before we get into anything.
Tell me.
Cat, why are you so flirty?
Why am I so flirty? I don't know. It's, I was actually voted biggest flirt in high school.
Were you really?
I was, and I had a boyfriend, so it was awkward. It was super awkward. It was me and this guy named Tyler Stenzel. He had narcolepsy, so I don't even know how he was managing to do the flirting part of that. But so it's in my, I think it's my dad. I think he's a little bit flirty, not with me, obviously, but like other people,
Well, you have tons of admirers, one of which recommended us to you. That's Orion Levine. Orion had some nice things to say about you. Let's check in and see what those were right now.
I'll recommend. This is my one of my favorite rising comedians in Los Angeles. I think she's amazing. Her name is Catbird.
Oh yeah.
I think she's one of the best young joke writers in the city, and it's been amazing watching her get better at comedy. And she's very funny and very sweet.
I'm a fan as well. As of this taping, tomorrow we're going to be performing together down in Anaheim.
Oh, cool. Yeah, she's incredible. She's very good jokes. I'm jealous of a lot of her jokes.
Really? Oh, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice of him to say that.
Isn't that so kind?
That's really nice.
Aww.
That's really nice. So I was always like, with Orion, I've told him, actually, I don't know if I have told him, but I always like really looked up to him. I remember the first time I ever saw him was at the Comedy Store. I got picked for the potluck.
Yeah.
And I just started comedy, and I think I was the second person to go up on potluck, and my biggest joke was humping a stool. And
Really?
yes.
It takes some male comedians years to get to the stool hump.
That's what I'm saying.
Also, no wonder you won most flirtatious.
I know. You know what? I was just sending out those messages.
So the biggest like reaction you got was from humping the stool?
It actually bombed that whole situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever humped a stool to silence, but it is actually way worse than humping a stool. And then Orion, he was closing, and I remember watching him, and like it was just the most exceptional comedy, and I was like, I want to be like him. Like I saw him, and like he was what inspired me to do that. So
that is really so cool.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
I've got a younger sister. She's non-binary, so she's my half sister now. And it's okay. She loves that joke, but they hate it. Cool here. We're cool here. Testing the temp. Okay. Fun times. We're having a good time. Yes.
You know, Catbird, coming out here, being in Los Angeles, what's the comedy grind like in 2024?
The grind is real. I think that comedians in general are expected to be kind of the jack of all trades, and whether that's like, going to shows or writing or, working on, editing. And for me, I think my biggest grind is just writing. Like I've always just really appreciated that part of comedy the most. And that's always
appreciate you enjoy the writing process?
Yeah, I enjoy the writing process, but I've also just seen that as like the most important thing.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people have asked me like, oh, what does your next 5 years look like? And I couldn't tell you, but I could tell you like in the next month I want to have like a better 5 or something like that.
Sure.
Does that make sense at all?
Yeah. That makes total sense. I mean, you seem to be very, since you're so focused on the writing, you seem to be very locked in on, I'm writing right now between this hour and this hour, and I'm going to do the best that I can. Is that kind of what goes into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So so I'll wake up and I'll write for 2.5 to 3 hours every morning.
Wow.
And that is just like, that is my routine, no matter what, day or night.
Damn.
Or like every day I do that.
Wow.
What's like on the top of your mind when you first wake up? Is it like your dream? Does that turn into a joke? Or, it's, oh my God, I'm alive another day?
Yeah, I would dread even waking up.
I know, it can be really, yes, absolutely. The first thing I do is wake up in the morning, obviously roll out of my bed, because I don't have a bed frame, but I am getting one, and grab some coffee. And then I like to do a little bit of hippy dippy meditation,
Nice.
Get my brain clear. And then I'll write. And then, that's usually how I do. And the things I'll write about are just kind of, I'm always thinking. So I'll always just like write something. I'll write like 4 or 5 things down the day before. And then I'll just explore those that day.
Ooh.
Yeah.
When did you decide to take, this writing and your sense of humor to stage?
2.5 years ago, I started getting on stage, and I did it because I loved writing, but I was so afraid to get on stage.
Really?
Yeah, it was my biggest fear. And I had this kind of, I think it was like everything that happened with COVID and this like sense of like life and like it was just this like very existential time, I think, for a lot of people. And I was like, I'm not gonna not do something that I feel like I have to conquer my fear. I feel like there is a lot of that in me of just like, if I am scared, why am I not doing it?
I don't think I'm doing well financially, because every time I see shoes on a telephone line, I wonder if they're my size. Not good. Not a lot of ladies' shoes up there, I will say. I don't know what gang members are throwing them up, but if you could throw a size 8.5 high arch support, that'd be nice. A couple wedges, that would be good.
Yeah, so you're drawn to the things that scare you.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you also love, bungee jumping, riding roller coasters, eating spicy food, or like?
Yeah, things that are gonna push, not because I'm like, oh, I love this, but I like to feel like uncomfortable. I want to conquer something in my life. I want to like conquer those things.
That's interesting. And then do you consciously put yourself in uncomfortable situations to work your way out of it, or?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I've done like so many, you probably have had this experience where you like gone to a show or done a show and you're like, oh, I know this isn't gonna be good, but there's something about me that's like, I feel like I need to overcome this, which is probably some sort of like masochistic feeling.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not going to have any doctors on the program just because of that. But I totally agree. And, we were listening to what Orion had to say about you, and I chimed in and said, we're working together down in Anaheim, and that show...
Oh, that's a perfect example.
...was interesting.
Perfect example.
Yeah, because... And now listen, this was a comedy show in a calzone bakery. I don't know.
Yeah.
In a restaurant where they only make calzones and chicken wings.
And then teas.
Yes, and then that night
specialty teas.
There was another person making specialty teas and dessert coffees. But then there was a comedy show happening, and there was a lot happening. And this is in Anaheim. And when I was about to go up, you had already gone up and you had done really well. And I realized, yeah, right.
As well as you could when there's a panini in the corner.
I felt some butterflies in my stomach. And what I've decided to do lately is when I feel that, I'll treat that as like an energetic like power up. And I will do my best to channel that into focus. And regardless of the outcome.
Yeah.
But, that was one of those situations. And so then how do you channel your fear and your, uncomfortability or like anxiety now in the way that you approach the stage? And also, what was it like performing in front of about 40 people and 300 calzones?
Oh, yes. Would you say 40? I feel like that's an understatement.
Maybe,
or an overstatement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think I have the similar kind of channeling of those butterflies, because there's every part of me, if I'm being completely honest, there's every part of me that wants to head towards the exit.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? And then I'm like, dang it. But then I'm like, we're in Anaheim. I drove all this way. No, that's true. But no, there is a part of you that's just like, you kind of feel like you're walking into the firing squad a little bit. But I think it's just like, the shows that are just a little bit more DIY, I think. Does that make yeah, DIY, that are just a little bit, you don't know what, there's not as many people, or there's like lots going on, and you kind of really have to rely on like I guess extra kind of instruments in your arsenal. It's not like, I can just tell really funny jokes on a stage where there's a crowd that are attentive. You're like, no, I got the janitor in the back, and this guy's like baking some cookies, and this woman looks like she's about to throw up, and he's texting, and now I have to like figure out who I have to attend to.
Yeah, but then talking about like, the comedy grind, it's like this is an opportunity to perform.
Yes,
and you are the type of person that embraces all opportunities, I feel like.
For me, I'm like, it's just another, it's just like going to the gym. It's like, okay, I wasn't able to, I don't even go to the gym. What do you guys do?
I don't know anything about the gym
I'm trying to
lately.
make a metaphor. I'm like,
But it's an occupational hazard.
And something maybe you learn from for the next
100%.
one. Yeah.
I love LA. It's my home, but a lot of people tell me to go back to Portland. I'm a handmade soap kind of gal. I had a man yell at me the other day. He's like, hey, go back to Portland. I was like, listen, you're homeless too, all right? We both shower at Planet Fitness. My friend recently called me bohemian, which is a cool word until you Google it. And then it means dirty and well used. Yes. I actually am a little bit bohemian. Like, I live in a studio apartment with 5 rabbits, which is, it's a lot of vibrators for a studio apartment. It's too many. Maybe. I'm actually a little embarrassed because I don't have any furniture in my home, like, and I can't invite any hot dates over to my home, you know. That's mainly because I have a husband, but it would be nice to be included.
And, you know, if you are talking to, like, you know, a non-comedy person, imagine the conversation is typically like, oh my gosh, how do you get up there? I can't believe, you know, I could never do that.
Yes.
And you are kind of like, you know, there's a part of you, I feel like, is saying like, oh, well, I could never go up on stage. Oh, how did I end up here?
Yeah,
you know,
a little bit.
How did I get here?
Yes.
You said you won Biggest Flirt in high school. Comedy is kind of flirting, right? When you're on stage, that's flirting, right? So can you connect those two? Is that like when you're on stage, are you kind of, you know, how do you bring your flirt skills to the comic
flirt my
scene,
way to the
comedy
top.
scene?
I think it is because I think when you're flirting, you're kind of trying to entice people, right? So you're trying to like, but you need to flirt with your material. Like, right? You need your material to be this sexy little minx.
Right. You need to unbutton your jokes slowly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was So then, you know, was anyone in your family funny, or how did how did that come to be? I mean, your dad was certainly flirty, as you said.
Oh yes, Dad is flirty, very funny. My dad is hilarious. My mom is actually, she's British.
Oh wow.
And she grew up in like the rough parts of England, so her accent was always a mess. Like,
where are the rough parts?
yeah, exactly. Not everyone got not everyone got crumpets. It was really rough.
Not everyone got crumpets.
Yeah, she grew up in this Birmingham, which is
okay.
the same place as Ozzy Osbourne. So just same kind of accent. So she was always silly because my brother and I would always be like, "What the hell is Mom saying?" She'd like speak in like these like Cockney rhyming slang, you know?
Oh yeah.
But she'd make hers own up. She'd make it up.
Yeah.
And so like so
weird?
much of like. I recently had a call with my mom, and this is literally how she picked up the phone and she's like, "Oh right, Bob's your uncle, you know, had sex in a loony bin, got half pregnant," and then hung up. And I was like, I don't know, I just like hung up that phone like, who's my father? You know, like I didn't even know. Like
Bob's your uncle means like it's like a wink, like you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And what's half
right?
pregnant?
half pregnant. I still don't know what half pregnant is.
I'm half pregnant right now. You know what I mean?
Too.
Too many calzones.
Too many.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So then, so yeah, your mom's a very silly and speaking in rhymes, and your dad's flirty. What a great combo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What a
Oh,
pair
yeah.
they are.
It's
They
all
were.
coming together for us now,
They
painting
are.
the picture.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So then, how has your time been in Los Angeles as a performer? And what is it that you think is required of comedians today? There's so much to do on social media. There's so many, shows to do, clubs, bars, don't tell, etc. So
much, yeah. I think that's a really good question, and it's actually a question that I get a lot. So I was born and raised in LA, but I didn't get into the industry until I was, a few years ago, really. And my best advice to comedians is like never, ever say no to stage time. I think that is my best advice. And like, I think there's an ego once you get to a certain place of like, I shouldn't be doing shows for 5 people or whatnot. And for me, I've always just seen those faces, who's ever listening, I'm like, oh, this is a perfect time for me to like just try a new joke or use a different, something that I can, like just sharpen a different tool in my set.
Yeah. So then what are you focusing your time on right now on stage? Like what's your material circling around? Because I know you talk a bit about family, about siblings. You talk about, your relationships and stuff like that. What's your focus now, and what do you find people talking about on stage?
My focus right now, I'm really trying to crack it, is I used to be a chef for about 7 years.
Okay.
And it's a part of my life that I just, I've honestly revisited this so many times in my comedy career.
Yeah.
And I have not been able to make it relatable. I have not been able, and I don't know if there's something behind like me being in kitchens. So because it's like not exactly
Yeah.
a friendly environment. So it's just trying to put that out to an audience that just doesn't really, doesn't necessarily understand the back of house hospitality and finding that language where they're like, oh, I get,
Which is increasingly frustrating because the most popular comedy in the world right now is The Bear.
Exactly.
Okay.
Comedy said in
Yeah,
quotes.
I know.
Yes.
Okay.
Talk to
Fascinating.
me. Talk to me.
That is fascinating. So 7 years in the service industry or more? 7 years?
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was
Back of house?
back of house. I did the Michelin
Sous?
kitchens. No, so I got to chef de partie in the Michelin world. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd work. Okay, great. The first half of my life, through college, I played Division I soccer.
Oh wow.
in
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm not finding success in sharing that experience
Yeah.
in a humorous way, right? There's a couple instances, but like for it being so big a part of my life,
Yeah.
it's difficult. So
Yeah.
so you're struggling with the same thing with like back of house stuff or like the restaurant industry.
Yeah. I find that it's
Why
like
is it? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe because it was such an emotional tie to us. There's a little bit of darkness there. I'm sure that we're like. I remember one time I got. This is kind of, but I got slapped for like undercooking an asparagus. And this is serious. I got a pan of peas thrown at me. The sous chef, he was a French chef. And for the record, and this isn't against all French chefs, but most of them smoked cigarettes. No, I have no problem with that. But then they would be like, oh, this isn't seasoned properly. And I'm like, Piotr,
So wait, you're doing the peas. I got to hear the peas.
Oh yes, so the peas story. Okay, so I was on the meat garnish, and the sous chef was the guy that was overlooking this section. There was like a little bit of competition because I was rising a little bit higher anyway, he saw me as trying to take his spot in the kitchen. So it was the last night. It was like a Saturday night service, last dish to go. I was putting the peas on the pan or putting the peas on the stove, and the stove kept turning off, and I didn't know why the stove was turning off.
Yeah.
And so I'd like go somewhere, I'd turn it back on. By this time, the head chef is angry because he needs to get the dish out, and he's yelling at me. He's like, Kathy, what the fuck? What's happening? And so he grabs the peas, throws them at me. And what was really happening was the sous chef and the guy over my section kept turning the stove off. Every time. Intentionally. Yes. So I would, yeah.
And now, do you also sense that competition in the comedy world when, you're in a room full of comics? We're all friends and we're all looking out for each other. And, I got a good bit of advice early on, which is like, most of the opportunities that you will get will come from your contemporaries. Yeah. But, there is a bit of competition there because there can only be one person on stage at a time, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think stand-up inherently has that, that essence of competition. Because like you said, it's stand-up. It's one person on a stage. Yeah. And there is, I think that you feel it. I mean, if ever you go to the improv, you can feel those mics that there's more to lose. I think there's people up there just kind of feeling that. I will say, after my time in the kitchens, I don't really see it as the same competitively because of like where I have come. So it's like, if someone's not going to laugh at my jokes, it's like, I don't, I've been, it doesn't matter to me.
I've been slapped with an asparagus. What can you do to me?
Yes.
You cannot hurt me.
Yes. It's the best.
Your difficulty trying to find relatable humor is something that I'm exploring now because maybe we can work this out or talk about it because when I was living in Florida, I knew this guy named Science Dave. And Science Dave, yeah. He used to work for the Orlando Science Center.
That's a very Floridian name. Science Dave.
Wait till you hear about all of them. So Science Dave, and he used to work for the Orlando Science Center, then he was fired, and he became homeless. But he had this great way of looking at the world where he was like, I'm homeless, but I treat every day like a video game. And of course he meant like a Mario, like 8-bit like video game. He goes, I move in one direction and anything I find, I use. And I was like, okay, what a fascinating way to think. And then, obviously the joke is like, yeah, he's like Mario because he eats mushrooms and he fights turtles. Right?
I love that.
But I'm trying to make that funny. That's very funny to me. But people are like, ooh, unhoused person, I don't know if I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah.
Also,
okay. Yeah.
Florida, I don't know if I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah.
And then, it's not directly relatable necessarily. Maybe it's a fear of some people getting fired from their job and, adopting a different personality or a different type of wisdom or whatever. But what I want to do, or I'm trying to do, is zoom out of that situation and then find instances where uncommon wisdom comes to you, and then even zoom out even broader to introduce the audience of the idea of like, what's better, wisdom or intelligence, and the difference between each.
Yeah.
And then I think I can eventually get back to that part, but that's like, 7 or 8 minutes of work, not, with punchlines and jokes in between there, but like expanding a thought that's just funny to me, and then kind of zooming out 50 feet, then zooming out 100 feet. And so for you, what do you think is it gonna take to be able to share, so many great stories that you have in the kitchen world? Like, what do you have to zoom, like, hey, I hate, everyone hates their job. I used to have this terrible job that I hated.
Yeah.
And what other job do you get vegetables thrown at you,
And love it. No.
Yeah. It's like, hey,
the next day.
we're not kink shaming here on the program.
There has to be a little bit of BDSM in kitchen. I mean, you're just like, yes, chef, that, you're getting slapped around. I mean,
And that leads into how you met your husband.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
My husband, he's Scottish and he's a chef, so our dirty talk is really weird. Like the other day, he whispered into my ear, he was like, baby, ye are so efficient. I was like, oh no. I think my husband thinks my vagina is an air fryer. But I gotta commit to the bit, you gotta commit, you gotta do it. So I was like, yes, chef, thank you, chef.
It is funnier now that I'm looking at it objectively. I think being involved in it, where you're like, oh, I used to cry on the bus, just being like, oh my God, they found a bone in my crab. Like, I'm never gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was it. That was the end to me. And now I look back at it like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very important at the moment.
Yeah.
But because it had to be, because that's the only way that you gather that experience to bring it to the next one, just like a gig, if you're performing for more calzones than people, you're going to bring that experience to, the 500 seat theater, and, hey, look at how far I've come,
Yeah.
But I think you're going to crack that. And when you do, it's going to be so fun.
I hope
Because there's so many, how many people work in kitchens around the world?
Yeah, there is this. I think that there is that. I think I always get a handful of people that can kind of relate to, one of the funnier things I always felt was like whenever I've worked in a kitchen, it's every pre-shift meeting sounds something like, today's going to be the busiest service in the history of service, and no one is here. Like, no, like, I feel like I've never seen a fully staffed kitchen in my life.
Yeah.
You know
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because have you seen the movie Any Given Sunday?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Have you seen it, Todd, with Al Pacino?
I just remembered the guy's penis was on screen.
Oh, good.
Okay, great.
Good.
But every pre-shift meeting is like the speech that the head coach gives before the Super Bowl. Or like Varsity Blues, like, these are 60 minutes for the next 60 years of your life. And this is you're playing the Super Bowl every single day. Maybe you have one day off. Then it's like, what do I even do with myself? And then you look at your refrigerator and you're like, I work in a kitchen. Why is there nothing in my fridge?
I can't feed myself. I literally don't eat. I was 25 pounds lighter when I was in a kitchen.
Wow.
And people are like, don't you eat? I'm like, no, it's the one thing I don't do is eat food.
You would have like been caught up in the breeze. You're like a kite. Kite bird.
I was like,
well, we're almost out of time.
Yeah,
Todd,
yeah.
any final questions?
Well, at the end of the episode, we'll get a suggestion from you for a comedian everyone needs to know about. But I know you've had some experience with Peter on stage, hung out with Peter maybe in the comic world. I want to know what you have to say about our esteemed host, Peter Murphy. Doesn't have to be
Put him
nice.
in his place already.
The first time I saw Peter, I think you made a roast about something that you were wearing. I think it was like a stepdad or a substitute, something. It was very funny, but there was such a warmth about you that like made just people just so involved. Like you just have such an endearing quality about you that I think is very unique to comedians, and I think that without even having to find that relatability in your material, you've already bridged that gap because people want to hear what you're talking about.
Wow.
And I think that's really special.
Nice.
Thank you so much. You're too kind.
No, I'm not.
But now something mean to like even it out.
Yeah. That's what Todd really was asking.
Yeah, I'll cut that out. Get to the good stuff.
The mean part. I hear Peter snores when he's ladies. I don't know. What is it?
All right. Some
Good to have
ex-girlfriends
insight.
have gotten in your ear, clearly. All right. Well, two final things to wrap everything
Yes.
up. Where can people find you on the internet? Or for all forms of social media?
Yes. So I'm on Instagram.
Heard of it?
I've heard of. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's so it's just cat, K-A-T, bird, B-I-R-D, comedy.
All right. And you were referred to us from our friend Orion Levine. Is there a comedian or writer or creative or artist out there that you would want to be on this show?
Yes. One of my dear friends, she is wonderful comic, Ariana Romick. She is literally, yes, she's so.
Are they a door person at the comedy
They
store?
are.
Okay,
yes.
great. Yeah.
Yes. Very talented, just such a unique voice in the community. She's done so well. And I think that she just needs to be seen and heard, and really talented writer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy cow. Well, what a great episode. Thanks so much for tuning in with Todd in the outfield and the very flirty Catbird.
Is this my thing? Oh, God.
I'm not sure, but thanks so much for listening. Check out Catbird on the internet and see when she's performing around town and in your town. Take care. Have a good day. See you next time.
Bye.
Funniest People You've Never Heard Of is a production of Toby or Not Toby Productions. Executive producer Todd Fields, producer and host Peter Murphy. Studio space provided by Third Wheel. Theme song written and performed by Justin Fields. Brought to you by Tequila Especial. Don't forget to like and subscribe.